Several years ago, I lost three mates to suicide. And at the time, I thought to myself, am I doing enough to help my friends, my family, my community? Because I completely missed the signs. Now, I'm not responsible for what they did, but I feel like I could have done better. I had one of them come to me just before he did it, a day or two before he did it. He reached out and I missed the signs. And I'd really like to get that point across to people that may be watching this today, that just being familiar with what's going on in your own life, your friends, your family, your community, at the gym, at the sporting club, can really make a difference. So I hope you find this information, these podcasts, interesting or informative. If you do, please share them, send them to someone that may benefit from it, like it, and enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, Derek Best, Vegan Fight for Life. Today I'm joined with the marvelous Fiona Skene. She's a very good friend of mine. I've known her for multiple years. I know your story, Fiona. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Just so, because I know, let's explain to the audience who you are and give us a bit of your background.
All right. I am 57 years of age, or nearly 57. Birthday's in a couple of weeks. But I've been doing martial arts for over 40 years, and I've worked my way into the therapy field with psychologists and psychiatrists, and using martial arts as a therapy, but also helping people as an empowerment coach. So I'm a 4 times Australian champion in Taekwondo. I have 6 different martial arts backgrounds. I have a black belt in Kyushu Jitsu as well. I have worked in the prison system in maximum security prisons. But I realized that with the self-defense, it just wasn't enough. It was the physical side of defending yourself and keeping yourself safe. But what was the mental side of keeping yourself safe? Because we have, in the 65,000, I think it was in 2019, people attempted suicide. So I thought, okay, I've got to build a program that works on that. So I went into studying neuro-linguistic programming. I also have had a brother who attempted suicide 4 times. I've also worked in domestic violence. I realized there's an empowerment game and a disempowering game that we play. And so I wanted to figure out why people do what they do. So I went on a big, deep dive. I've worked with Tony Robbins as a bodyguard for 12 years, who's the #1 strategic life coach of the world. Well, that's what he states. Mm-hmm. And being in that room, it teaches you a lot about understanding human thought, human behavior, human emotion, and how you can direct it. And so that's what I've been doing a lot in my therapy and what I do with clients, ranging from anything from suicidal tendencies to domestic violence to, just being stuck. So it is, how do we end up empowering our life rather than disempowering our life?
So what you say, you work in the field of suicide. When we spoke before, you said you can identify when someone's feeling suicidal. What are the signs you're looking for?
Well, usually there's a language pattern. So I talk about love and trust, fear and doubt. We're either in love and trust in a moment or we're in fear and doubt in a moment. And you can hear the powerlessness in their conversations. So they'll often say, I'm stuck, I don't know, everything's hopeless. And right there, and you can see that they've got very little energy. They don't have a lot of solutions. And I know that once they start going down that track, that nothing works. They start to say things like, I've tried everything, nothing works. Those words of everything and nothing gives me an idea that their power is draining very, very, very quickly. So what we'll do is it'll end up, those words are actually, that's coming from a thought pattern that's subconscious. And that's usually where I know that there's something that's happening here. And it is definitely, I look at, okay, right now, the level of what they do that at will tell me when this person is in real crisis. So I had an opportunity probably a couple of weeks ago where a guy, I rang up, someone says he's not doing so well. I rang up and I thought, mate, this guy needs the ambulance. He is like, anything could happen at any time. So I just said, I didn't say, hey, would you like to do stuff with me? I said, you need help. I'm here to assist.
Mm.
I'm coming around tonight. All
Yeah.
right. You need help right now. So, and I recognize that. So, and he's engaged with me, and now we're working on just his mindset. But he has a lot of stories where he's just powerless in what is going on in his life.
The reason I do what I do, Fiona, is I know you know this, is because I had a similar story where I had actually three mates who took their own life, and they were pretty close together, as in the events happened, within 12-month period. They didn't know each other. They were from different states. So I wanted to seek information to share with, my audience, the people that might feel lost, might feel lonely, might feel like it's the end of the road, and information like you're sharing with me now. So you identify that someone, if so, again, if I can get that message across to the people that are listening, that actually take a minute to understand what's going on with your friends, your family, your community, then I'd feel like I'd been doing what I've set out to do. So thank you for the work you do there. But you say emotional mastery and wisdom by building strength in my character. What does that mean?
So, I mean, the way that it's set up at the moment is that the world is often telling us who we are and whether we make the mark, right? Are we good enough? Am I enough? Is what I'm doing landing? And it's always this sense of um, whether we're appreciated for who we are. But what it is someone else becomes our ruler. So what I always look at is that I look at being an emotional engineer. An
Mm-hmm.
engineer will help you to build the strength in your home to weather the storms no matter when they come, and they will come. All
Yeah.
right. They're always looking at, the soil, what is anything that can demean or deplete the structure. And so I look at how do you build your emotional home? And it's figuring out what are the fundamental things that I can do to actually maybe get off this course of not feeling enough in my world and not being enough or not feeling adequate or whatever the story is. And I don't like to concentrate on that too much because our brain is suggestible. I look at, okay, how do we weather the storm? And it really is figuring out what can I do with a moment to be the very best that I am while I learn it. And it's really just being aware of how I talk about myself.
Mm.
So emotional mastery it takes a while because we're not taught this stuff. We go, hey, here's life. Hope you do well, and off you go. But
Is that,
we're
is
taught
it,
mathematics and English.
yeah.
I'm always looking at how do we actually talk about ourselves to ourselves and how do other people talk about ourselves? And this is where love and trust and fear and doubt comes in. Do I have a love story about who I am, or do I have an inadequate story of who I am?
So
And these are just what ways we can build this strategy.
is that where effective blaming comes in?
Look, and it is life, events in life are going to happen.
Yeah.
Part of my history is a lived experience. I've gone through abuse, sexual abuse, and I had three different offenders. And well, I learnt martial arts. All right. And I thought this will help me not go through that situation and maybe be able to handle something. But what it did is that I also realized that I was really good at it. Eventually, by me actually becoming something where I used it for good of me, for good
Mm.
of competition, to be good at being able to teach people. I ended up being a bodyguard with Tony Robbins, which gave me an opportunity to go around the world. It's actually blessed me too.
Mm.
And I was talking to a young girl the other day, and she said I broke my dad was a drug addict, and I thought no one understood what I was going through. And I said, "Tell me what it's done for you." And she goes, I'm really good at school." And I said, "So it's built a standard in you that you probably may not have had before if this hadn't had happened." And she goes, "Well, that's one way of looking at it." And it is. We can choose to look at something which can serve us. We can often tell a story,
Mm.
and sometimes our brain will make up a story where we'll put in pieces and we don't know that whether they're actually true or not.
Mm.
And why don't we make up a story that actually serves us for the ability to grow in these situations? So this is where I use effective blaming. And I'll give you just a quick idea. I was adopted when I was young, and I made up a story in my head when I was I think it was 2 or 3, where I said my natural mother rejected me.
Mm.
All right. And I'm not lovable. All right. She didn't love me enough to keep me, and she rejected me and gave me up for adoption. And I made up that story. At 24, I went and visited, I found her and I visited her, and we have an amazing relationship now. But she said, I never, ever, ever, ever wanted to give you up. I had to do it because my father was going to kick me out of the house. And so this story that I'd lived my whole life with about being a rejection actually didn't exist. But it made sense to me as a 2-year-old, because I will fill the holes to make what I feel, right, real. And to me, it was real.
Yeah.
But really, by hopping back and actually having a look at a bigger view of life, we can maybe change the meaning we give life if we're willing to seek another answer.
Yeah.
So it's just one way to look at things.
Is there anyone you don't work with or you wouldn't work with?
Look, I have worked with so many people, from drug addicts to people who have done prostitution, to suicidal people, to people who are just stuck. Office workers, mums, dads, the footy coach. I work in schools. I'm not allowed to work with prisoners because I'm still a prison officer now. So it is part of the regulation of being a prisoner officer that I'm not allowed to work there. But if you haven't been through the criminal system, I'm allowed to work with you, and I prefer prevention. Let's work with it before it ends up into a situation where you lose your freedom over some of the things that we do. And we do things to try and fix things in life, but some of them, may not always be safe. And I completely understand this, because it's understanding someone's position, not judging someone's position, is where we have the ability to change a lot of things that happen. And I've had massive changes with prisoners who started and been very, very violent towards me. And within 5 or 10 minutes, they've turned around and said, Miss, why are you talking to me like this? I've never had anyone talk to me like this. You give me so much respect when I don't even deserve respect. And I actually say to them, you say, you know why? It's because I respect life.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves to be respected, and every life matters.
And
that's what I've whole life. Sorry, Derek, what did you say?
Okay, so if someone resonates with what you're talking about or saying now and wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that? I'll put that in the post after this, but what's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
All right, best way to do it is I have a Facebook site. I will send those links through to you. There's a Facebook site, there's a website. You can have a look at both. You'll see that there's an eclectic way. I'll also give a phone number. So all of those things are available on social media, on LinkedIn, all of those things. So I will definitely give you those. I'm based in Victoria, and I know you're in Western Australia, but this is something that is worldwide. It's a matter that's worldwide. So I will send all of those links with you, but you can look me up. I'm on YouTube as well. And it is Fiona Skene at Wise Self Defense.
Okay.
So it's Fiona at wiseselfdefense.com is the best way to, which is an email.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the work you've done. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. And would you like to finish on anything? Is there any burning desire that you'd like to finish on?
Look, and it is am I safe with myself? And it is, how do I actually fall in love with who I am? Because everybody has a brilliance in them. And I look at don't make stuff more important than you. I'm the one that's important in an event, not stuff. So it's not about achieving, it's about the essence of who we are, and are we accepted as we come? And we have the ability to do that. So I want people to know, yes, you matter.
Excellent.
You are so much more important than the things that you face.
On that note, thank you very much again, Fiona. I appreciate you. And guys, anyone that would like to get in touch with Fiona, please follow the links in this post. We're following this post. Again, my name's Derek Best, Beacon Fight for Life. Make sure you take the time to smile today. Thank you.